And as we are taking you to beautiful Mount Maunganui near Tauranga, we are going to be talking about the biggest cities of New Zealand. So cities may not be the first thing you come to your mind when you are planning your trip to New Zealand. There is, everything to do with natural landscapes, beautiful wildlife, and all that good stuff. But New Zealand also boasts some awesome city life, and there are some cities of decent sizes, and then amongst the top 15 cities in New Zealand, there is also some cities which are in much smaller sizes. So we'll go cover all of that. Plus, we'll have one honorable mention, and you'll understand why very shortly. And that's what we're going to be doing in this video. We'll cover all the 15 largest cities of New Zealand, give you a few tips, things to do there, and a few understanding about what they are. And we'll see ourselves paddleboarding. I guess the camera is on the paddleboard right now.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Judging by the, the side angle going on occasionally.
Indeed. All right, without further ado, sorry, let's get started. Okay, Laura, New Zealand's largest city comes to no surprise. It is Auckland, with 1.7 million people living there. And that said, it is not New Zealand's capital city. A lot of people actually make this mistake. So it's probably your biggest port of entry, yes, but not the capital city.
Yeah, so Auckland is, like Roman says, the largest city in New Zealand, with around 1.7 million people.
Million people.
It's located sort of towards the north of the North Island. It's not the northernmost region, but it's actually the second northernmost region of New Zealand. And it's famous landmarks of the city include the Sky Tower, which is the tallest building in the Southern Hemisphere. Is that correct? Is that still the case?
Yeah, I mean, they still boast that. They haven't removed the sign. I'm not sure if it's still relevant. It's one of the things that changes so often because they keep on outdoing each other.
Yeah. So another thing about Auckland is that it is full of volcanic cones. So you can in fact go for, if you're going for your city park walk, it may well be on top of an extinct volcano, which is quite cool. It's also on the shores of the Hauraki Gulf, which is the basically the body of water just next to Auckland, and there is also various volcanic islands to explore.
Plus, the Hauraki Gulf is home to amazing seabirds, whales, dolphins, which is quite cool.
You can do whale tours out there. So really, Auckland has quite a lot of diverse experiences. That's what makes the city so cool.
Nice. All right, so next up on our list, we have Wellington, which is New Zealand's capital city. It's about 500,000 people, so 542,000 people at the latest survey.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so like Roman says, it's the capital city. It's also home to attractions such as Te Papa Museum, which is the National Museum of New Zealand. It also has even a wildlife sanctuary pretty much in the city centre, almost in the city centre, Zealandia. It is also a harbourside city, like most of New Zealand cities, so there are water activities to be had, the odd kayaking tour here and there, but also the surrounding region has beautiful regional parks which you can explore. It's also known for its movie making industry, so home of the Weta Workshop, and obviously a lot to do with the making of the Lord of the Rings, and lots of digital effects for more later movies, more
like Avatar,
the Avengers, all that sort of thing. So yeah, there's a lot of things to discover in the capital city of Wellington.
Okay, and rounding up the top three, which are basically three, spoiler for the rest of the list, the three largest cities by far, and then there's a sharp drop down. We have Christchurch. Christchurch, located on the South Island, and is home to 396,200 people at the latest survey.
Yeah, so Christchurch is located on the east coast of the South Island, approximately midway through the South Island. And the city is famous for actually being quite flat compared to the other cities.
Yes, that's true actually.
But that's not really the main reason to go visit.
Christchurch, we're flat.
It's also known as the Garden City, so it has lots of beautiful gardens. Most famously, right in the city centre is Hagley Park, which has the Botanic Garden gardens on the premises, as well as the Canterbury Museum, which at the time of recording has moved to a pop-up museum as they are doing the restructure of the building, but it should be back there at some point, relevant for the rest of our viewers. So yeah, Christchurch also is famous for its tramway line. So you can visit around the city centre in a kind of quirky, different way compared to other New Zealand cities. It has a couple of more interesting museums like the Air Force Museum, that sort of thing. And then on the outskirts of Christchurch, you'll find the Port Hills, where if you're more into nature or hiking or stunning views, then that is the place to go, the Port Hills. So yeah, that is Christchurch in a nutshell.
All right, so that wraps up our top 3. We have many more to come, but spoiler alert, it's a sharp drop. Okay, so let's continue this list with number 4. Yes, that's right, the 4th largest city of New Zealand may one day be overtaken by the ever-sprawling Auckland, because it's very close to Auckland. It's Hamilton with 185,300 people at the latest survey.
Yeah, so Hamilton is the hub of the Waikato region, and the Waikato region is the largest region on the North Island and pretty central in the North Island. So Hamilton has a few really cool little attractions of its own. It's particularly the Hamilton Gardens.
It's Sherry's favourite.
Yeah, it's everyone's favourite once they discover it. It's a free attraction of various different themed gardens, which is really cool. Also, it is famous for having the Waikato River going right through the centre of the city, which the Waikato River is the longest river in New Zealand. But it's also a good base for exploring some of the highlights of the North Island. For instance, you can take day trips to Raglan, which is known for its surfing. You can take day trips to Hobbiton and also to the Waitomo Caves to see the glowworms. So yeah, Hamilton has some really cool experiences nearby, and as a city itself, it is also famous for being a student city. So if you're thinking of studying in New Zealand, Hamilton's usually a popular option. But yeah, otherwise it is also, like Robin says, quite close to Auckland, so you don't have to drive too far after you've got out of the plane.
Alright, so next up on the list we have the city in which we currently are showcasing our lack of paddleboarding skills. It's the city of Tauranga with 158,300 people.
Yeah, so Tauranga is a harbour city, once again, another glorious harbour city of New Zealand. And probably more famously known is its suburb of Mount Maunganui, which is known for
That's
its...
exactly where we are right now.
Exactly where we are. It's known for its volcanic cone, which is located at the end of sort of a peninsula with 2 beaches on the side. It is quite a nice sort of environment for a city, and yeah, as you can see, you can do lots of water sports around there like paddleboarding. There's sometimes good surfing to be had from the main beach. There's also Leisure Island, so there's a little offshore island which has a causeway you can just walk up onto, which is pretty cool. And yeah, nearby are some various forest parks where you can visit waterfalls and go hiking in the forests. And then as for the city itself, it has all your usual city services, shops, cafes, all that good stuff. Maybe an escape room here and there. Lots of sculptures, that sort of thing. So yeah, pretty cool city to hang out. It is known to be one of the fastest growing cities in New Zealand. So if you want to be part of the growing of the city, then go hang out there.
All right, so next up on number 6, we have 2 cities which are, well, kind of always grouped together. I think they have the same council and all that. So it's Napier and Hastings with 148,000 people.
Yeah, so like Robin says, this is actually 2 separate towns, but they are so close to each other, and there's lots of settlements in between that they are.
You barely see the difference when you go from one to the other. You don't notice that you went from one to the other.
Yeah, so they are often grouped together. This region is Napier and Hastings is based in the region of Hawke's Bay, which is on the east coast of the North Island. Really known for its good weather, so nice, warm, mostly dry weather. However, they have suffered from a cyclone in recent years, so it's not always rain-free, but when there isn't extreme weather events, it usually has a great climate, which is why it is known for being a really good wine-making region. It is actually New Zealand's first wine region, so the first vineyards were planted there.
Oh, fun fact.
Yeah. And yeah, so, but yeah, again, it's on the coast, so lots of amazing water experiences, beaches to be had, lots of Maori culture as well. So if you want to go on a Maori tour, there is the Waimarama Maori tours nearby. So yeah, lots of diverse things happening there.
All right, we've got more cities to come very shortly. Alright, so as we continue making our way through Mount Maunganui by paddleboarding, and we're finally standing, which, is a big success for us, we are going to be talking about more cities of New Zealand. And let's start with Dunedin, the student cities of the South Island. 130,400 people at the latest census.
Yeah, okay, so Dunedin is located on the South Island, on the east coast once again, but further south than Christchurch. It's quite far down south on the South Island. Again, another harbour city, so you can take a boat cruise to see amazing wildlife and all that good stuff. I'd say that one of the huge highlights actually is to do with the wildlife in Dunedin. So Dunedin is right next to a place called the Otago Peninsula, where you can go out there and see penguin colonies, you can see seals, sea lions, royal albatross.
Yeah.
So it really has like super close proximity to some really amazing wildlife experiences. So if you're a bit of a, love a bit of nature, then it's a good place to base yourself. In terms of the city itself, its city centre is recognisable by the octagon, so it has an octagon-shaped city
Is it Scottish
centre.
inspired, the whole town, or is it?
Yeah. So a lot of its heritage comes, a lot of it's sort of like, the whole town was sort of built by early Scottish settlers, so it has a lot of Scottish influence and heritage, which you can learn more about at its many museums, the Toitu Settlers Museum, which is in the city centre, as well as the Otago Museum. So, and they're both free entry, so it's really, really interesting, good attractions to be had, and yeah, also around the city, there's the Otago Central Rail Trail, which is a really famous and easy to do multi-day cycle trail, which you can get a train out from Dunedin to start that rail trail. Like Rowan says, it's famous student city, so it's home to one of the most, I guess, prestigious universities of New Zealand, as well as the steepest street in New Zealand.
Baldwin Street.
Yeah.
All right, so let's head back to the North Island with number 8 on our list, the city of Whangarei, with 101,000 people and also 900 more at the latest census. Whangarei, North Island, just a short drive north of Auckland.
Yeah, so Whangarei is the hub of Northland, which is the northernmost region of New Zealand. It's known for its subtropical climate, which is quite nice. You can experience some nice warm days up there. They have some really nice sort of city centre attractions like the Whangarei Falls, a beautiful
Which is quite rare to have a
waterfalls.
beautiful natural waterfall in the city centre. It's pretty great.
And there's also the, which I have to admit doesn't sound too appealing, but it's actually quite cool, which is the Whangarei Quarry Gardens. So this is an old quarry that they've turned into some beautiful subtropical gardens. So it's quite cool as well. And then nearby you have some really beautiful beach areas and really awesome sort of coastal scenery, especially around the Whangarei Heads, going up towards Tutukaka, where you can go and do the Poor Knights Islands, scuba diving, snorkeling, paddleboarding, all that sort of stuff. If you're looking for a more favourable climate, doing a little bit of beach exploring and combined with some nice city centre attractions, also got a few art galleries and quirky art galleries there as well, then Whangarei is your place.
And as a quick note, we do have full travel guide of all those places with best accommodation, best thing to do, etc. It's all in the link in the description of this video. Alright, so moving on, we are now below the 100,000 people in each of the cities, which I know for a lot of people in North America are like, what? How are you even calling that a city? Indeed. But yeah, so our first city, which is under 100,000 people, is at 90,400 people. It is number 9 on the list, and it's Palmerston North.
Yeah, so Palmerston North is the hub of the Manawatu region. So this region is, so on the North Island you have in the center, you have Waikato, and then just underneath you come towards the Manawatu Whanganui region. So yeah, Palmerston North is part of that. And yeah, the city center itself, again, highlights is that it is quite flat and it's not on the coast for once. That's pretty different.
Yes, New Zealand is a very coastal kind of country.
Yeah, so get some inland experiences. It's particularly known for the Manawatu River, so they have beautiful cycleways and walkways along the river there. Also nearby is Manawatu Gorge, which is more like native forest walks.
Great whitewater rafting as well.
Oh, and the Manawatu Gorge.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And also Te Apiti Wind Farm. So you can drive up to a wind farm and stand under some windmills, which is pretty cool. What else is there to say about Palmerston North? Great markets, that sort of thing, because it has a lot of it's in a rural area, so you do get some really good farmers markets there. The town centre is like the what they call the square is quite quirky. It's got this sort of very rectangular clock in the centre. It's got a few statues here and there and pretty gardens. So yeah, it's an interesting city to explore, that's for sure.
Indeed. Okay, we'll have some more cities coming up very soon. All right, so some more cities which are still large on New Zealand standard, are coming right up with New Plymouth at 88,900 people.
Yeah, so New Plymouth, let's get back to the coast, this time on the west coast of the North Island, in the Taranaki region. New Plymouth is the biggest city there. Again, what a city's known for? Beautiful gardens, and New Plymouth has plenty. Pukekura Park, I think it's called, is really stunning. There's also lots of really beautiful murals that you can find all over the buildings around the city as well. So it's very artsy, it's a very artsy city. It's home to the Len Lai Centre, the Govert Brewster Art Gallery, which has some very
unmissable, so shiny.
Yes. Very shiny building, you will not miss it. Also has its own regional museum as well. A highlight of New Plymouth that everyone should do is do the New Plymouth Coastal Walkway, which has lots of interesting sights to see, some sculptures from its local artists. You can also cycle the walkway as well. It's got the Te Rewa Bridge, which is pretty cool. Yeah, New Plymouth is really awesome. Nearby is Mount Taranaki too, so if you want to take a day trip out to Mount Taranaki, do the famous Pukaiki Tarns walk. Am I getting that right? Probably
yes.
not. But yeah, do the Tarns walk. Yeah, lots of really beautiful Mount Taranaki hiking to be done nearby.
Alright, so next up on our list, we have a city that's coming at 11, and I think that's going to surprise a lot of people because it's so bloody famous, and yet it's so low on our list. So with 76,800 people, we have Rotorua.
Yeah, believe it or not, Rotorua is a city. I think that was the thing that surprised me the most.
Oh,
was
really?
Like, is this a city? Because it actually just feels like a town. But yeah, Rotorua is in fact a city. It is a city in the Bay of Plenty region, so located actually pretty central in the North Island. But of course, it is most famous for one, its geothermal activity, and second of all, for the Maori culture, which is present there. There's a lot of Maori shows and stuff based out of Rotorua. So that's probably its most famous things, but it's also known for its mountain biking scene. So there's loads of mountain biking parks, particularly in the Whakawira forest. It's got just uncountable amount of trails there. It's really insane. Uncountable.
She doesn't have enough fingers to count them all.
I can't count them, but there's so many. So yeah, Rotorua is really a happening place with lots of attractions, a lot of things going on. Whether you're just wanting to visit or base yourself there on a working holiday, yeah, Rotorua is pretty cool. We do enjoy Rotorua.
Alright, so from the heart of the Maori culture to the bottom of the South Island, we have Invercargill at number 12 on our list with 56,800 people.
Yes, so Invercargill is the southernmost city of New Zealand, and they will remind you of that constantly as you visit.
Is there one claim of fame?
Everything you see, every attraction you see will be the southernmost. Something. So yeah, that's what Invercargill is all about. They do have their own quirky regional culture there. They are famous for their Southland cheese rolls, which is well, I'll leave that for you guys to discover on your own. Don't get your hopes up way too high, but, give it a try. When you go to a cafe, ask for a Southland cheese roll and just be amazed. But yeah, Invercargill, of course, is a city. It's got some beautiful gardens. Queen's Park is the main garden there, but nearby you do have lots of really awesome sort of road trips to discover. You can head out to the Catlins. You can even take a plane to Stewart Island from Invercargill. So yeah, and just it as the southernmost city, it's also a bit chilly, so everyone take a jacket.
Wow. All right, we're gonna have some more cities coming very soon. I like the extra tips you leave in there. I like it.
You just like the way that I just end it abruptly.
Alright, so number 13, unlucky 13 on our list, we have a city of 54,500 people, and that's Nelson.
Yeah, Nelson. So this is a city located at the north of the South Island. Despite being on the South Island, do not be fooled, it's actually quite a nice climate up there. It's nice and warm. It's mainly a dry climate, so again, this is a good city to base yourself in if you do like a bit of nice weather. So yeah, what Nelson is sort of known for, it's again a very artsy environment. It's got the World of Wearable Art Museum, the Car Museum. It's got lots of markets. It's got the Pix Peanut Butter World, so you can go and see how peanut butter is made. Beautiful gardens, Trafalgar Square. They kind of stole that from somewhere. And yeah, but also around, nice impression, also around Nelson, it is close to 3 national parks, which is great if you're into hiking and getting out in nature. So you're near the Nelson Lakes National Park, you're near the Kahurangi National Park, and finally you're near Abel Tasman National Park.
Which are 3 of the absolute best places for hiking. If you're into hiking and wildlife and all that, you are going to be mind blown.
Yeah, so Nelson is, thumbs up in my book.
Thumbs up in the book. Okay, so number 14 on your list, we have the city of Gisborne with 52,100 people.
Yeah, so Gisborne, we're going back up onto the North Island now, on the east coast of the North Island. Again, beautiful, dry, sunny climate. Also known for its winemaking region, so you can visit a fair few wineries while you're in there. They also have a lot of people that are into their craft breweries, so you can do lots of beer tasting up there as well. It is particularly famous for its festival that they have there every New Year's Eve / New Year's Day, which is the Rhythm and Vines Festival. And yeah, also great for its surfing. So even its main beaches right in the city centre, you can enjoy some really good surfing there. So yeah, obviously, if you love surfing, it is a no-brainer. Otherwise, got some great museums, art galleries. Did I mention the wine and beer? That's pretty much Gisborne in a nutshell.
Alright, so if you are a wannabe Godzilla and want to make your way into the New Zealand market and want to terrorize one of the largest cities of New Zealand, but 14 other Godzillas arrived already and did the exact same thing, and you want a city of your own, well, you need to go to city number 15 on this list. Yes, that's my transition. And that is Whanganui with 48,700 people.
Yes, so Whanganui, it is the city that confuses most tourists because they changed their spelling to WH, which we've all been told is spelt F.
I mean, it's pronounced F.
It's pronounced F. But when you talk to locals, actually, they just all pronounce it Wanganui.
I know, it's very,
so
very
confusing.
confusing.
So here we are on the channel, still pronouncing it two different ways because we are still confused. If anybody knows the real answer, please tell us. Is it Whanganui or is it Wanganui?
It's Whanganui. We all know it's Whanganui. It's just the oldies don't want to change their ways.
Okay, so Whanganui, it is known for its the Whanganui River, which goes right through the centre, and it's actually where the Whanganui River terminates, and the river is known for being the longest navigatable river
Yes.
in New Zealand. So that is the main thing. Also, the river is its own identity, is its own living entity. It did have laws changed so people would appreciate that. So yeah, it's a really interesting sort of cultural place to visit and learn, especially about some Maori traditions. Also, in terms of the city itself, it has some really lovely river walks, some beautiful art galleries. There is some interesting water towers that you can go and explore and go up to get some views of the city. The Dury Hill Tower is one of them. And then nearby you do have some beaches. So if you want to take a little bit of a trip out of the city, you can visit some beautiful beaches in the area. Not the warmest swimming you can find, but really some picturesque beaches, that's for sure.
Indeed. Alright, so we'll come back in a minute with a honorable mention for a reason. Alright, so a honorable mention as promised, and it's Queenstown, because we know that all of you guys have heard of Queenstown and probably have it on your list. However, it's too small to make it onto the list, so we have to put it as a honorable mention. Because believe it or not, Queenstown is only home to 29,000 people.
Yeah, so Queenstown isn't actually, isn't one of the biggest cities in New Zealand, but people mostly know it because it is like a huge tourist hub. You can do, especially because it's considering it is known as the adventure capital of the world, then you know that you can do whitewater rafting, you can do canyoning, you can do jet boating, bungee jumping, skydiving, and a whole bunch of other stuff you've probably never heard of, because there's new adventure activities always being discovered, always being invented, and that's what Queenstown is all about. It's also got some wine tasting here and there, some burger eating, some what else is Queenstown? Just some scenic trips to Milford Sound. If you will never get bored in Queenstown. There is so much to do there. On the downside, it is also, because it is like a kind of tourist resort town, that means that you won't find the cheapest activities here. So usually staying here a while means that it will put a hole in your pocket, but that is Queenstown.
That's the price of traveling, isn't it?
That's the price of traveling.
All right, cool. So that wraps up this video about the biggest cities of New Zealand. I hope you enjoy watching us paddleboard and just give you a bit of a run through about the largest cities in the country. If you found that useful, like, subscribe, join us on Patreon if you want us to actually help you plan your trip to New Zealand. And there's a link to a full transcript of this video in the description. So check it out, click on there, and start planning. Bye-bye.